Hey there, Mike Perez with Mastering the Young Band at MikePerezBand.com. This video is a continuation of my literature video in which I talked about how I approach my beginners literature. I use the same ones every year for my beginners. And then I talked about my first concert approach with my second band and my top band for my young bands. This video, I want to talk a little bit about the December concert as well as festival and even the end-year concert. So I do 4 concerts with my second band as well as my top band. We do October, December, and then we do a pre-festival concert in February, and then our end-year concert in May. And so the December concert, my approach for my second band, the first concert is very much here's what it's like to be a band, to be in the second band. I picked, pretty easy literature for them so we can concentrate on musicianship. And then at that winter concert, I usually pick some piece that I can really work on phrasing and balance and blend in. It doesn't necessarily have to be a pure lyrical piece. One of my favorite pieces to play in that December concert is Todd Stalter's Castles and Dragons. It's an A-B form, so I can work on phrasing. I can show them if we do a 2-bar phrase up and 2-bar phrase down. What if we do 4? It's an awesome piece for teaching phrasing. The fast section of it is really exciting and loud and fast, which young band students love. It's a wonderful piece for teaching musicianship and, as I mentioned, phrasing with the young band. So I play that piece pretty frequently, not every year, but I play that frequently. I will usually pair that up with some sort of winter holiday tune, not necessarily Christmas. I do try to represent lots of different cultures in my programming, but I pick something wintry in that December concert. And I usually make that winter piece, I try to make it a grade under what they normally play, a 1.5 or something they can put together really quickly. Sometimes I'll even pass that only 2 or 3 weeks before the concert, go, hey, we're going to work this up in a hurry. And then I usually pull out my march with my second band, whatever march we're going to play at our festival. We will start that and perform that. We kind of premiere it at our December concert. It's usually under tempo, so we're not at tempo 120. I might even play it at tempo 82 or 72, whatever they're ready for. And sometimes I may not even play the full march. We might start at the beginning and end at the trio. So that way they get used to playing their march, and that way we can continue to work on it in the third quarter. I have my students 80 minutes every other day, so I have less prep time, especially with my second band, to get them ready for festival. So I need to start some of my festival stuff earlier in late October or November, and I choose to go ahead and start my march. Some years at festival, I do a multi-movement piece with my second band. We might do one of those movements at the December concert and then learn the other movements in January, February in preparation for our festival in March. For my top band, we do an elementary tour. So at our December concert, we do some sort of fun holiday piece. Right now, the one that my students loved was Santa the Barbarian by Randall Standridge. My kids love it. The elementary kids love it. I've done in the past Santa on Parade. That's a really fun one. Richard Saucedo has a wonderful one. I can't think of the name of it right now, but he has a fantastic one that I've played in the past as well. So in our December concert with my top band, we do whatever our elementary tour piece is. We start our march, very similar to my second band. We will start our march. We play way under tempo, and it's the same thing. We may only play up to the trio. We might just play the first and second string, just to kind of get a head start on that. With my 80-minute every other day schedule, it's really hard to have a band ready to go by March. So I have to start things a little bit earlier than some schools that have festivals in April. The next thing, we might play just a kind of a fun piece in addition to the elementary tour piece in December, or I might play another fragment of our festival music. So again, it might be one movement from a multi-movement work. Maybe it's the first half of a piece. It's that kind of thing. So my December concert is kind of just fun celebration of the winter season. Also starting to get ready for that festival prep that we're going to perform in March. Then I do a pre-festival concert, and I make sure that I do that pre-festival concert in one of our local high schools. It is so important to get your kids onto a stage prior to festival. So we usually go to one of our district schools. We go and perform on a stage just to get them used to the lights and a real stage rather than our school setting, which is more of a gymnasium setting. I invite one of my colleagues to come watch our kids and listen to them. And this is really fun. What we do for our pre-festival concert is He sits at a table just like you would at a festival. The parents are there, by the way, so it's like an evening concert. We perform just like we would at a festival. We go through it just like you would. We do the same warm up, we do the transitions, we practice all of that. And then he actually gets up on stage with a wireless microphone and he does an on stage clinic in front of the parents. It's awesome. The parents absolutely love it. The gentleman that I work with, he's really funny, but he's articulate and works on great musical concepts. And the audience absolutely loves seeing this on-stage clinic. Of course, what's great for my kids is it prepares them for their clinic that they're going to have at their festival in March. Now, for my bands, I actually do two separate concerts that night. I'll do my second band, start around 6 or 6:30, and then my second band at 7:30. This concert takes a little bit longer, and if they watch each other, I found that the students get antsy sitting there watching and listening to the clinic of the other group. So I do two separate performances, and plus, it leaves enough seating room for my families. We perform our festival in March with my top band. I typically play a march. Again, they're a grade 3-4 band, so the march is usually an upper level 3, a 3.5, possibly an easier 4, but I try not to overprogram my march. And then we do the second piece. I love doing multi-movement works with my band. That one's typically a grade 4 piece. And then the third piece is also a festival type piece, if you will, but I try to make that a little bit more of the romp, the one that the students really enjoy playing. It's just a really fun piece. Last year we did Choose Joy by Randall Standridge. The kids loved it. It was a great way to end our festival performance. So that's my typical recipe with my top band for festival. We do a march, we do some sort of multi-movement work, and then we will end with a pretty fun, just romp of a piece that the kids love playing, but that is still very musical and viable in a festival setting. With my second band, same thing. We do a march. I really love the Johnny Vinson marches. He has a lot of the great marches that we do with my second band. Same thing. We'll oftentimes do a multi-movement work, although not always with the second band. As you know, those are harder to find. And then we'll find a third piece that the kids really love and that is great at a festival. So I always do 3 pieces with my second band and my top band. And since I start their literature earlier in that second concert series going into December, we can really refine and get to the music before that festival. The final concert of the year, I have to be honest, it's my favorite concert of the year because you kind of let your hair down. It's fun. There's not the pressure of festival. The kids know how to play together. And I love pushing my kids in that last concert, especially my top group. I'll pull out some, grade 4, piece that's really challenging for them that we can kind of work up for the concert. I usually pick a transcription for my top band. I love playing orchestral transcriptions that are easier, a grade 3 or grade 4. Sometimes I'll pick movie music, that kind of thing. I pick something fun to end the year. So typically in a typical year with my top band, we will play 3 pieces at our last concert. The second band, I push them more to that grade 2.5 literature. I don't do grade 3 typically with my second band. And the reason for it is I don't have the color instruments in that band. I don't have oboe, I don't have bassoon, and other instruments like bari sax, tenor sax, I may not have. And so pulling off grade 3 literature, even if they're ready for it rhythmically, technically, in terms of the range, it just doesn't sound quite the same. I know you can find flex band pieces or some of the great Texas small school band pieces, but I typically keep it at grade 2.5 for my second band. And then once they become in my top band, then I push them into that grade 3 and 4 because I have a fully instrumentated band in my top band. So that's how I program my literature with my program here. And it goes really well. And just having the predictability, knowing what you're going to do. I love how Cheryl Floyd calls it her recipe for her literature. Create your recipe. Learn from people that you really like how their bands sound at concerts and festival and ask them, how many pieces do you program? Just be careful, though, when you are comparing. Make sure that you have a comparable amount of rehearsal time and structure as those bands that you admire. Because if you don't see them as much, or if you have a different schedule, that kind of stuff, you can get yourself into trouble in terms of picking something that's too hard. So anyway, that's how I pick my literature. Make sure you check out my resources at MikePerezBand.com. I have my Essential Foundation, supplemental techniques, and warm-ups in there. My latest resource is called Band Daily Skills for the young band. And then I have my beginning band fingering charts and a few other resources in there as well. So hope you enjoy that and take care.